Welcome in, Raider Nation, to Raiders Press Conference Live, Week 14 edition. I'm Vince Sapienza, alongside, as always, the living legend for the Silver and Black, Eric Allen. EA, we are here, a rough one for Raider Nation this past weekend, losing 48-9 to a division rival on the road. If anything could go wrong, it seemed to go wrong for the Raiders. Now that you've had a night to sleep on it, what are your thoughts on what we saw on Sunday?
It's still tough, to digest that performance yesterday. I think in a situation like that, people want to say, hey, move on, forget it. You really can't forget it, because those similar things are going to pop up throughout these next 4 weeks, particularly when we see offenses trying to duplicate the success that the Chiefs had offensively against our defense. And then we just can't give the ball that away like that. It has to be really a considered effort for this football team offensively to secure the ball. And if we have that ability, and that's really under our control, right? Yeah. And I know all the plays that the Chiefs made, you want to give them credit, but as we were talking about in the green room, that's the first thing about, offense is ball security, right? You want to make sure you win the turnover battle. And I'm pretty sure Coach Rich is going to talk about that in those explosive plays that the Chiefs had. It just seemed like the Chiefs had the Raiders' number this year, the last 2 games, almost 90 points against. So again, after all that, we're still in a great situation because we play the Chargers, we play the Broncos, we play the Colts, we play the Browns.
-5 in the turnover differential on Sunday, outscored by the Chiefs 89-23. Those are not stats you want to be hearing, but as you just saw in the AFC standings, 4 games left in the year. Still plenty to play for. Coming up, we are going to hear from the man himself, Raiders interim head coach Rich Bisaccia, give us some answers as we head into Week 15. Stay with us.
This program has been presented by Coors Light, an official beer of Raider Nation, made to chill.
Welcome back to Raiders Press Conference Live, Week 14 edition. Vince Sapienza, Eric Allen. We are talking about the Week 14 loss, 48-9 to the Kansas City Chiefs. We are going to unpack this game, but before we do, we're going to hear from Raiders interim head coach Rich Bisaccia, who is heading to the podium right now.
Afternoon. I'll run down the injury report here and then take some of your questions. As of right now, we should get Jalen Richard back, hopefully off of COVID tomorrow. Foster Moreau right now is going to be day-to-day. Has a little bit of a muscle strain. Darren Waller is still questionable. Patrick, we should get him back a little bit. He'll be a little bit limited this week as we get started tomorrow, but hopefully we get him back. Denzel Perryman is still questionable with the ankle. Max Crosby right now is limited with a calf. Carl Nassib is still a little bit day-to-day limited with his knee. And then we hope to get Bowers back. We'll know a little bit more this afternoon and tomorrow morning with him. He's getting a lot of his strength back. Hopefully we can get him back for this particular game. And Trayvon Mullen right now is questionable with a toe. That's where we're at this particular point injury-wise, and I'll take any questions you may have.
You mentioned Waller as being questionable. I mean, is there a progress from last week? Is he, I know he went from week to week to day to day.
Yeah, he's progressed from the pool onto the standing treadmill now in our facility. So, again, it just hasn't been able to be outside and run yet or cut or do things of that nature. So we're hoping to get more progression from him, but as of right now, it's just he's in a questionable state.
I know you guys have a lot of confidence in Foster, but have you noticed a difference in how teams kind of defend you, attack you with him not being there?
Yeah, I mean, they're different players. So it's a different set of confidence. We have a lot of confidence in Foster doing the roles and the things we'd like him to do, and he's made plays for us and been productive. But certainly Waller gives us another element. He's a guy that can line up outside. He has both receiver skills and he has tight end skills with his body type. So he's been missed.
Did you see the response that you wanted from your team after what happened on the field yesterday? Do you want them to be angry, frustrated? Like, how do you want them to kind of respond to this?
Yeah, I want them to feel how they feel. I'm not in charge of someone else's feelings. I think we're all angry. We're all disappointed. I'm not big on frustration. I think it's a wasted emotion. And I'm just trying to look at, from my perspective as coaches, what we can do better, how we can help them, put them in better situations or better positions to help them play a little bit better. I'm sure they're looking at it the exact same way. So, yeah, I think all the emotions are just feelings that we have of what we didn't do very well and how we'd like to fix them. So I can't tell somebody how to act or how to feel. I know I don't feel really good about it either.
You mentioned following the game yesterday that, you were going to look at the coaches and the players and possibly make some changes. Do you anticipate any changes before Saturday?
Well, I anticipate playing with a different team every week. That's kind of what happens. So I don't think that'll change this week. We'll see how the injury report files out, and we're always going to try to put players in competitive situations. All of a sudden we have Malcolm Kuntz playing. All of a sudden we have Divine Diablo playing. All of a sudden we've dressed some different guys offensive line-wise, and they've gotten some different snaps. And so we'll see how that shakes out. But I always think there's changes from week to week in our league.
Rich, I am not going to, nor would I ask you to call players out from there specifically by name, but what were your thoughts on the guys gathering at midfield and all of that?
Yeah, I didn't know about it in the beginning, and when I left the field, everyone was in the end zone, and it's certainly something I've discussed with some of the players, and we'll talk about it in our team meeting tomorrow. I can understand, the other team having a point of view about it, and so I didn't really think it was. Now that I found out about it, I would rather it not happen. I'd rather not walk from one end of the field to the other to make some sort of point. We punted in. Thought we should have huddled there like normal and come off the field. But I'll do a little bit better job of staying out there a little bit longer and making sure we do what we're supposed to do at the end and leave the field.
I think one thing you can say about the team, even despite the struggles, you've seen a consistent level of effort for the most part throughout the year. Was that the case yesterday throughout the whole game? I know there was the long run touchdown that Kansas City gave up. I know there was some perspective that maybe that wasn't the greatest effort the defense.
Yeah, I think perception and reality, right, can be two different things, or they can be the same. I certainly don't think any of us were excited about the long run that we gave up towards the end of the game. I didn't think giving up the run before the end of the half with the missed tackles was good as well. And then I think anytime you go into a game and you turn the ball over 5 times and you fumble the ball like that by our good players, it's very uncharacteristic of Hunter to put the ball on the ground and Foster to put the ball on the ground and certainly Josh as well. So I think when you do that, you kind of dull your senses a little bit as to what's going on. So I don't really think we played with the same effort we've played with to the bitter end, which I've said before, and that'll certainly be addressed. It was addressed with them, and we played a good team as well. I think they're well coached, and a little credit goes to them. But we're going to do the best we can to get ourselves ready to go to play Cleveland on a short week.
Rich, down 35-0, and Kansas City's going to get the ball. Can you talk about that decision to kick a field goal there? What you're thinking at that moment?
Yeah, I thought at halftime, again, we used a fake punt to get ourselves back in position to get the ball again. And I really wanted to come out of the half with some points and some hope that we can come back at second half and stop them and get the ball back and get a drive and go down and score. So that was the thinking. I didn't want to come out of there with 0. We took a couple shots at the end zone because time allowed. And then we got ourselves in position where I either take one more shot at the end zone or get some points. I wanted to get some points going in at the half.
Rich, from your vantage point, what has happened with the offensive line this year? It seems there's games where they're blowing out holes for the running backs and they're protecting Derek, and there's other games where Derek doesn't even have time to run for his life. Yeah, you kind of answered your own question to some degree, and I just think those particular games that we've played well up front, and we've run the ball well and had some big plays and play action. And some of the games when we haven't played well up front, and we've given up some protection loopholes and given up sacks like in the game the other day. And also we're playing from behind in that game, so it gives their defense a chance to line up and tee off a little bit as well. So. We've had some adjustments and some positional changes up front as we've gone through the season. And, we've lost some guards at this particular point as we've gone through the season. So we're looking at that as well. And I think we like to anticipate, hopefully we can sew that up a little bit and play a little bit better.
When you have a performance where there's those 5 turnovers like you mentioned, does it just become mental at one point when it just starts snowballing like that?
I've said really, we've had 5 turnovers. We're trying to get ready to go play Cleveland. I don't know how much more I can banter around the turnovers in the game or the sacks in the game or what went on. If you'd like to ask a question about Cleveland, I'm all ears. So that game's over, and we didn't play well enough to have a chance to win. Now we're on to the next week.
Right, Rich, this is not about that game in particular, but the Raiders are second in the league in offense passing the ball, 29th in running the ball. And does that go back to just that's for the season, sir, not just yesterday? Is that go into really where the struggles have been with this team offensively, is that inability to establish a run?
Well, again, in the games that we've been productive, I thought we've played well in the run game, and we've had some really good play action, explosive plays out of that. In the games that we haven't been able to run the ball very well, it has a little bit to do with the people we're playing against and the fronts that we're playing against. And, we weren't very good play action-wise when we don't run the ball very well. So when we end up behind, we end up a little bit more into a drop-back type team. We'd rather not do that. We'd rather be closer to balance like we were in the wins that I think if you go back and look, you'll see. So we're really trying to do whatever we can possibly to give us a chance to score points on offense. Sometimes it looks good, sometimes it doesn't.
One more. Oh, go ahead.
You mentioned talking about Cleveland. Cleveland's got a guy that's zeroing in on the sack record in Miles. Does that affect your thinking at all? If the line isn't protecting Derek, to maybe, just if it's not for a spark, if it's not for Derek's own protection, to get Marcus out there because he's much more mobile?
Well, again, there's been conversation all the time about what's the plan for Marcus and when he comes in and what exactly he can do with it. But, I don't think we're – you okay, Arnold? I don't think we're real excited about taking, number 4 out from behind the center when he can be a productive player for us. And I thought yesterday he gave us a chance with some of the balls that he delivered to put us in position to score some points, and we turned the ball over. So I don't ever think that anything is one particular thing is going to, move you in one direction or the other. And so we'd like to do a better job really in everything that we're doing.
All right, guys, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Paul.
That was Raiders interim head coach Rich Bisaccia. You were just listening to Raiders press conference live. And EA, let's just kind of touch base on what we heard. Kind of an extensive injury list following that 48-9 loss in Arrowhead. Darren Waller still questionable. He's made progress from the pool to the standing treadmill, but he has not been able to run or cut, so he's still questionable. Denzel Perryman still questionable. Max Crosby is limited with a calf injury, and then Trayvon Mullen questionable also with a toe injury. Those are going to be a lot of questions moving into a big game on a short week, but what are your takeaways from what we just heard?
And I think that's important to mention that the team that showed up in Kansas City was hobbled by some players, and that's going to be the case for this week against the Cleveland Browns. And that's difficult for offensively and defensively. Offensively, of course, Darren Waller is really the catalyst of this football team. He's the centerpiece as far as catching the ball and how allowing other players to benefit by him kind of dominating, dictating coverages and such on defense. And then defensively, we need our middle linebacker back. He's such a great influencer as far as making sure that running backs never get to that second level. He's done an outstanding job. I think he's top 5 in tackles, so definitely need him. Again, the team that shows up in Cleveland hopefully is a healthier team that showed up in Kansas City. And then just talk about Derek Carr. I mean, Derek Carr has some great throws, right? And then some of the Kansas City Chiefs did a great job of punching the ball out. Some of those throws were because our runners were trying to make the run after the catch. So again, Derek Carr under pressure, under duress. We're playing behind, so we need him. We need that accuracy. We need that leadership ability that he has to be able to throw the ball. There's going to be some packages in times where Marcus comes in. But Kansas City was not the time to bring Marcus in to run an RPO.
EA, there's an old saying, worrying is like a rocking chair. It'll give you something to do, but it won't get you anywhere. Rich Bisaccia talked about the same thing with frustration, talking about it's a wasted emotion. It sounded like he was doing his best to deflect what happened yesterday because, again, you almost have to, with 4 games left, short week, back on the road against a hopeful playoff team that could be taking your wild card spot.
Yeah, a good point to that is we have to understand as fans that they have already reviewed the film. So they've reviewed the film, graded it. The players have went through it and had their minuses and pluses and whatever. So now they've learned from that, and it is time to move on. So the first time, the public hears him, he's already went through the film, and he's on to the next game. Yeah. We're still kind of, we're still in the shadow of this game because we haven't really dissected it and went through it again. So that's why he's kind of on to the next game, because he really is on, and he has to really show that in the locker room that he is on to the Cleveland Browns.
And as they prep for this game and with all those injuries, some of the young guys are going to have to step up. We saw that in spurts yesterday. Coming up after the break, we are going to take a deeper dive into a couple of the young guys, Divine Diablo, Malcolm Coons. Stay with us here on Raiders Press Conference Live.